What up, dude bros? I'm Frank. This is a video review of the Worldtech Warrior Prime Dart Blaster. This blaster is flywheel powered and fed through the 20-round cylinder with a super snazzy shell. Les contents. Now to the external overview, starting up with the front. This blaster is not a Nerf brand blaster, so of course it does not have a front barrel attachment point. Moving back to the foregrip, I think it's super comfortable and it looks really, really cool, but it doesn't really have anything else to point out, like to manipulate like buttons, compartments, or anything like that. But certainly not lacking in the style points. I mean, just all the shell detail. This blaster looks really cool in my opinion. There's also this carry handle area, and it appears that there could be a rail in here just by like first glance, but this is not a real Picatinny rail. And even if it were, I don't know what type of attachment you could put like inside there, but it looks pretty cool anyways. So style points. Moving back from there, we have this cool looking scope up top. It doesn't magnify or do anything like that, but it looks cool. And bonus points, it moves. This is a height adjustment, so if it's lower and you don't want to cram your face against the blaster, you can raise it. Will it help you shoot more accurately? No, but it's cool, I think. Down below to the cylinder or the drum, it holds 20 darts and it's fixed into the blaster. It's not supposed to be removable like a magazine, but since the cylinder is completely open, it's not a big deal. You can very easily load it without it being removed. This blaster includes 20 of these glow darts. I've used a few glow darts in the past that work fairly well. These are awful. These don't work at all. Glow darts that actually work really well are still pretty difficult to use because you can't have any ambient light at all, like even a night light. Otherwise, your eyes won't be able to actually follow the darts in the air like tracer rounds, which would be cool. So glow darts in general are just pretty gimmicky, but these don't even work as a gimmick. It's pretty bad. But the whole drum unit that moves is made out of a clear plastic and the barrels are diffused. So when you do turn on the blaster, it activates the little glow lights and it lights up the drum, which I think looks pretty cool with that diffused plastic. Now stop ruining my audio. Moving back to that on switch that I just hit, this is a flywheel powered blaster, but it doesn't have a traditional rev trigger. It's kind of like an always on. So in the off position, you can't pull the trigger, you can't fire it at all. Once you hit it on, you're activating the flywheels and preparing for semi-automatic fire. There are some pros and cons to this always on characteristic that I've mentioned in a few Air Warriors blaster reviews, but I personally prefer a rev trigger so I can very quickly ramp it up because this on and off trigger isn't really easy to hit with your like thumb. So I think it's intended to turn on for your entire Nerf game. You're not supposed to selectively turn it on and off before you fire. Moving back to the grip, it is oversized and fairly comfortable, but it is a thumb hole stock, so this thing might interfere with your wrist movement. That's just a personal preference thing, but after shooting it for 20 or 30 minutes, you might get a little annoyed by it. And moving back to the miniature stock, of course, it's way too short to use as an actual stock, but it does have this little like sling mount back here corresponding to the front one, but they're really thin. None of my sling attachment points would actually fit in there unless you use like a string for your sling. String for your sling. Rhyming. But then in the all the way back, you have your battery compartment. Of course, it's flywheel powered, so it doesn't work without batteries. And to charge the battery, you can remove this screw and pop out the back plate. It includes a very small battery, both in physical size and battery capacity. It's a 3.7 volt battery, but it only has 380 milliamp hours, which is very low capacity. That's less than like one Ultrafire or one IMR. So that's almost equivalent to just throwing one of those batteries in here. In that limited capacity, I had to recharge this battery 3 or 4 times, I think, to get it through my standard testing procedure, which got a little bit annoying. And the recharge time on that is 60 to 90 minutes from the manual, and you can get through and kill that battery in less than 30 minutes if you're shooting fast. And because it's not wired up to like a battery tray for AA's or whatever, it's more difficult to throw in another battery without rewiring it. But that's the external overview. Again, to operate, you charge and install the battery, you load in some darts, and you go pew pew. First, the included glow darts. Now firing Nerf Modulus darts. Operating this blaster is kind of a disappointment. I think it looks really cool, but the performance is pretty terrible. I threw this blaster up with my chronograph and I got an average of 55 feet per second with the included glow darts and 57 feet per second with Nerf Elite darts, which is noticeably slower than that 70 FPS par that we can expect from most blasters on the market right now. So performance is observably underwhelming. bummer. Getting to my final conclusion on this blaster, I think it looks really cool, and I think the little moving scope is fancy, and this front end is really cool, and I'm totally going to hack this off and install it or integrate it into something because I think it looks sweet. This yellow plastic has this cool like glow-in-the-dark feature-ish, but it doesn't really glow in the dark, but it kind of does. And for people that just really don't like magazines, but they want that flywheel superiority, it seems like a decent option, but the Alien Menace Incisor, this guy here, pointing to my back wall there, would be a better option than this one because the performance is just underwhelming. But if you're looking for a prop blaster or a shell to rip apart to integrate into a Strife, this would be a great option because it does have some cool features. So overall, would not recommend this one, but if you're interested in purchasing it, I'll put a purchase link in the description box below, you know, for spare parts or shell components to integrate. So that concludes my review of the Worldtech Warrior Prime Dart Blaster. Hopefully I've provided everything you need to know whether or not you'd like to purchase one. That's the review. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, bros, stay tactical.